The stars looked peaceful as the spaceship Aurora Leaf moved quietly through deep space. It had been on a long journey from Earth, searching for new planets and new life. The crew had seen many strange worlds, but none like this one, the planet. Below was named Valari. It was covered in soft blue forests and wide silver lakes. From space, the whole planet shimmered like a pearl. The sky had rings of soft color green gold, purple that danced slowly like waves. Among the crew was a quiet man named Tom. He was not a soldier or a scientist. He was a watcher. He liked to listen more than talk. His job was simple: learn about other cultures, write reports, and help his team understand alien customs. But for Tom, it was more than a job. He truly loved learning about other life. He believed every planet had its own kind of beauty. When the captain asked who wanted to join the first team to explore Valari's surface, Tom raised his hand. "Pack light," the captain said, "and be respectful. This planet might be different from anything we've seen." The small ship landed gently near a glowing forest. Trees with clear glass-like trunks stretched high, and soft lights floated among the branches. The air was warm and smelled faintly of honey and rain. A group of tall beings waited for them. Their skin shimmered like the surface of a bubble, and their long hair moved like silk in the wind. Their eyes were deep, like pools of light. These were the Valari. One of them stepped forward. She was slightly smaller than the others, with a soft glow around her face. Her hair was a light silver blue, and her eyes held something gentle curiosity, maybe, or quiet kindness. She spoke in her own language. Her voice was like wind through leaves. Then a translator chip, worn by Tom, began to speak her words in a calm voice. "I am Lyra. I will guide you." Tom stepped forward and bowed slightly. "Thank you. My name's Tom. We come in peace." The Valari did not smile the way humans do, but Tom could feel warmth in Lyra's expression. She moved with grace and led the humans along a path lined with glowing flowers. Every step made the plants change color underfoot. They reached a village. Built among the trees, the houses floated gently in the air, connected by light bridges that shimmered as people walked on them. Everything felt soft, slow, and peaceful. "This is beautiful," one of the other humans whispered. Tom nodded but said nothing. He was watching Lyra. She walked a little apart from the others, quiet like she carried something heavy inside her. There was a loneliness in the way she looked at the sky. Over the next few days, the team explored the village and studied the plants, animals, and the Valari way of life. The scientists took notes. The leaders had meetings, but Tom spent his time with Lyra. She showed him how to listen to tree songs, music made from wind blowing through special leaves. She took him to a garden where light itself grew from the ground in small orbs. At night, they sat near the lakes and watched the sky rings change colors. Tom shared pictures of Earth with her as home: his family, oceans, mountains, and birds. Lyra touched the image of a sunset and asked, "Is this sky real?" "Yes," Tom said. "It's real, but different from yours." Lyra looked at it for a long time. "Yours is warm, ours is cool." One evening, she gave Tom a small gift, a smooth stone that gently hummed when held. "It remembers your touch," she said. Tom gave her a feather he had kept from Earth. It was soft and blue. "It once flew through our sky," he said. Lyra smiled in her way. "Now it flies in mine." As the days passed, Tom noticed something strange. While Lyra was kind and welcoming, others in her village did not talk to her much. They nodded politely, but moved past her quickly. She did not seem angry about it, just used to it. One afternoon, Tom asked her gently, "Are you happy?" "Here." Lyra looked at him for a long time. "I create beauty. I show others how to see it, but they do not always wish to look." Tom didn't fully understand, but he felt her sadness. He wanted to say something more, but didn't want to hurt her. That night, she invited him to something special. "Tomorrow is our ceremony of seeing," she said. "It is a time when we show our true selves. You may come if you wish." I would be honored, Tom replied, as they sat in silence under the shifting lights of Velari's sky. Tom wondered what the ceremony would be like. He also wondered what Lyra truly saw when she looked at him. He had come to study a new world, but somehow it was the one showing him more than he expected. He didn't know yet that the next day, a simple sentence would change everything. And that Leah, the quiet artist who felt invisible in her own world, was about to cry for the first time in many years. Not from pain, but from joy. The sun rose gently over the forests of Velari. It was not like Earth's sun. This one was softer, rounder, and gave off a light that felt calm and kind. The trees sparkled as the sunlight touched them, and small glowing birds flew. Across the sky, like floating stars, Tom stood near a wide tree with clear, glass-like bark. The leaves above made soft music as the wind passed through them. He held the small humming stone that Lyra had given him. It felt warm in his hand, like it remembered him. Today was the ceremony of seeing Lyra arrived without a sound. Her silver-blue robe flowed around her like mist. She looked peaceful, but her eyes held something more like a storm that had never been spoken about. "Are you ready?" she asked softly. Tom nodded. "I think so. I don't know what to expect, but I want to understand." Lyra led him through the glowing forest to a large open space surrounded by trees shaped like arches. The ground was smooth and white, like polished pearl. Hundreds of Velari were already there, standing in silent circles. They did not talk. They simply stood, eyes open, watching the sky. Lyra guided Tom to a place near the center. "This is the place of first sight," she said. "Here, each soul is seen." Tom looked around. "What does that mean?" "It means," Lyra said, turning to face him, "we take off all masks. We do not speak with our mouths. We speak with our light." She closed her eyes. Her body began to glow softly at first, then brighter. The colors shifted: blue, violet, silver like water and fire mixed together. The light moved from her chest, flowing through her hands, her hair, her face. Tom watched, breathless. It was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. Other Velari began to glow as well. Each one was different. Some shone gold, others deep green, some in warm red. No two lights were the same. The translator chip in Tom's ear stayed silent. There were no words to translate. Lyra opened her eyes and looked at Tom. She didn't glow as brightly as the others. Her light flickered. It was soft and quiet. "I show my truth," she whispered. Tom didn't understand everything, but he felt something deep inside. He stepped forward, looked into her eyes, and said without thinking, "You're so beautiful. I just want to look at you." The words came from somewhere honest, not planned or practiced. Lyra stared at him, and then she began to cry. Not loud sobs, just slow, shining tears that rolled down her cheeks and fell to the pearl-white floor. The glow around her body brightened. Velari nearby turned quietly, surprised. No one said a word, but something had changed in the space. Lyra looked at Tom, eyes filled with wonder. "No one," she said, voice trembling, "has ever said that to me. Not once. Not in all my years." Tom's heart beat faster. "But it's true. You are." Lyra touched her face, almost not believing her own tears. "I have always been. It's too much. Too bright. Too deep. My light is quiet, strange. Others look away. But I didn't," Tom said gently. "I saw you. I still do." The trees seemed to glow brighter. The music of the wind grew louder. Suddenly, an older Velari stepped forward. His glow was strong and golden. He looked at Lyra, then at Tom. He bowed his head slowly. "You have truly seen," the old Velari said, "and you have truly been seen." Tom felt a wave of emotion he didn't know how to name. Lyra reached for his hand and for the first time, held it. "I didn't know I needed to hear those words," she said quietly. "But now I will never forget them." The ceremony continued around them, but for Tom and Lyra, time had slowed. They sat together on the pearl-white floor, hand in hand, saying nothing. There was no need for words. Later that day, as the sun began to set, they walked back through the forest. The light followed them, dancing in the trees. Lyra told him more. About her past, she had always loved art, light, and color. She had painted the sky with song and built floating gardens. But others had not always understood her. They say I see the world too softly, she said. I think you see it just right, Tom replied. That night, Lyra took Tom to a special place. It was a hill above the village, where the sky could be seen clearly. The stars looked closer here. The rings of Valari moved slowly, painting the heavens with stripes of gold and blue dot. Lyra pointed upward. Do you see that small bright star? Tom nodded. That is your home Earth. Tom looked at it, then back at her. And this is mine now. She turned to him. Do you mean it? I've seen many places, he said, but none like this, and no one like you. Lyra smiled not with her mouth, but with her whole face, her whole being, and in the gentle glow of the Valari night they sat together, two souls from far worlds, connected by one moment of true, honest beauty. Morning came gently over the forests of Valari. The leaves glowed with soft green light, and the air was filled with sweet sounds of floating birds. Everything felt calm, as if the world itself had taken a deep breath. Tom woke early. He stepped out of his small resting pod and stood under a tall tree. He touched the smooth, humming stone Lyra had given him. It was quiet now, but it still felt alive. Yesterday had changed something, not just between him and Stads, the Rubidan himself. He had come to Valeria as a visitor. Now he felt like something more. Soon, Lyra arrived. She wore a simple robe made of glowing thread. Her face looked peaceful, and her eyes sparkled when she saw Tom. Good morning, she said softly. Morning, Tom replied, smiling. Lyra held out her hand. Come, it's time for the final part of the ceremony. They walked through the forest. The trees bent slightly as they passed, like they were greeting old friends. Light danced across the path, following their steps. In the open space from the day before, the Veleri had gathered again. But this time, they stood in a wide circle around a glowing platform. Soft music came from the trees. It wasn't played by instruments, it came from the leaves, the wind, and the air itself. Today's ceremony was called the sharing. Each Valari would show something important from their heart. It could be a memory, a piece of art, a light form, or even a song. They would share not to impress, but to be seen. Lyra turned to Tom. This is the time when we trust each other most. We show who we really are. Tom nodded slowly. Will you be sharing something? Lyra hesitated. Yes. For the first time in many cycles, she took a deep breath, then stepped forward. A soft glow rose from the platform as she stood in the center. The crowd became quiet. Then the light around her began to change. It formed into floating pictures, moving shapes made of light and memory. Tom watched. Breath held. He saw a young Lyra sitting alone beside a river. She was drawing in the air with glowing threads. Other Valari passed by, not noticing her. Light shimmered, but no one looked. The next image showed her painting the sky alone again, then building floating flowers in the air that drifted above the village. Still, no one stopped to ask her name. Then came a moment from just yesterday. Tom stood in the picture, under the ceremony tree looking at Lyra, and then his voice came through the image, soft and clear. You're so beautiful, I just want to look at you. The crowd was silent. Lyra's glow surrounded the image like a gentle hug. The scene faded, and she looked out at the circle of Valari. No one had ever said that to me before, she said.
Ow.
No one had truly looked. She turned toward Tom, until he did. The older Valari, the one with golden light, stepped forward. His voice was calm. You have shared something pure, Lyra. Thank you. Then he turned to Tom. Human, would you like to share something as well? Tom felt his heart beat faster. He had not prepared anything. He didn't have lights, or memory forms, or glowing music. But he did have something. He stepped into the circle, nervous but calm. I don't have the same light powers, he said. I come from a world of oceans, wind, and sound, but I brought something with me. He reached into his small bag and took out a simple glass orb filled with blue sand. This is from a beach on Earth, he said, where I used to go when I felt invisible too. He held the orb high. It's not special by itself, but it holds my memory, my quiet place, my light in my own way. He placed it gently on the glowing platform. It sparkled under the Volari light. Then he looked up at them all. Lyra saw me when no one else did, just like I saw her. That's what I believe this ceremony is truly about. There was a long silence. Then a soft sound began to hum, low and warm. The Volari were singing not with voices, but with light. Their bodies glowed together, making soft patterns in the air, flowing around Tom and Lyra like waves. They were not just welcomed, they were accepted. Lyra stood beside Tom, eyes filled with quiet joy. She gently took his hand, and he felt warmth run through his fingers. You have shared your light, she said, and they see it. Tom smiled, and they see you now too. Later, as the ceremony ended, the sky turned a soft gold. The trees glowed brighter, and fireflies of light floated through the air. Lyra and Tom walked side by side through the forest, saying little, but feeling much. Back at the resting pod, Tom sat down beside a small glowing plant. Lyra joined him. Folding her robe neatly, she looked at him with a soft smile. You speak little, but your words carry weight. Tom looked at her, his voice quiet. Sometimes, when you really see someone, you don't need many words. Lyra nodded. You have given me more than any gift. Tom tilted his head. What's that? She turned her face to him, eyes glowing gently. You've given me the feeling of being ... real. Tom felt his throat tighten. He placed his hand over hers. You are. Very real, very seen. The wind passed softly through the trees, and in that gentle moment, under the golden sky of a faraway planet, two souls sat quietly closer than ever, their lights quietly glowing together. Soft breeze passed through the glowing forest of Volari. Birds with crystal wings flew gently between the trees. The sky was painted in light blue and gold. It was a perfect morning. Tom walked slowly beside Lyra, his hand lightly brushing hers. They had just finished watching the sunrise from the high hill. For the past few days, everything had felt peaceful. Tom had learned more about Volari ways how they used music to guide their crops, how their lights responded to emotion, and how deeply they respected stillness. Lyra was his guide, but she had become something more. A friend, a soul connection. They spent hours together, walking, listening, and sharing quiet thoughts, but peace never lasts forever. That morning, as they returned to the village, Tom heard a sound he hadn't heard in days, the sharp hum of a ship entering the atmosphere. He stopped and looked up. A new ship was landing near the edge of the forest. It was not from Aurora Leaf. It was bigger, louder, and darker. Tom could tell by the shape it belonged to Exploration Division 2. They were humans too, but their mission was different. Where Tom's team came to learn and connect, Division 2 came to measure and plan. They looked at value, not beauty. Lyra noticed the worry on Tom's face. Do you know this ship? She asked gently. Tom nodded. Yes, they single quotes Rye, from Earth 2. But they don't see the way we do. Soon a group of 5 humans stepped out of the new ship. They wore heavy boots and hard suits. One of them, a tall man with short gray hair, walked ahead. His name was Commander Bryn. Tom walked toward them, heart heavy. Bryn looked at him and raised an eyebrow. Tom, I didn't expect to find you here. I could say the same, Tom replied. Bryn looked around the glowing forest with a cold. This place is ... unusual. Reports said high energy sources, floating structures, and unknown resources. So we came to check it ourselves. Tom felt uneasy. It's not just a place. It's a home to real people. Bryn didn't answer. He looked at Lyra, who stood quietly beside Tom. Is this one of the locals? He asked. Tom nodded. Her name's Lyra. She's an artist and a guide. Bryn made a short note on his data pad. Noted. Lyra spoke, her voice calm. Welcome. To Valari, we offer peace. Bryn didn't respond to her words. He only said, we'll begin surface scans. No harm meant. But Tom knew how these scans worked. They searched for minerals, energy, and signs of useful technology. They didn't look for feelings or beauty. Only numbers. Lyra looked at Tom as the group walked away. They do not feel the trees, she said. No, Tom replied quietly. They look, but they don't see. In the next days, Bryn's team walked through the forests with machines and tools. They touched the trees without asking. They flew drones near the lakes. The peaceful air began to feel heavy. The Valari were quiet, but Tom could feel the change. The glowing birds flew higher. The lights in the trees dimmed. Even the music of the wind was softer now. One evening, Tom sat beside Lyra at the lake. She placed her hand in the water and watched the ripples. They do not wish to hurt us, she said, but they do not understand. Tom sighed. They think knowing a place means measuring it. But you can't measure the feeling of this forest or the warmth of your light. Lyra looked at him, then helped them see. Tom felt unsure. They don't listen to people like me. I'm just a quiet observer. You saw me, she said gently. I'll show them. Ow. The next morning, Tom asked Bryn for a meeting. They stood at the edge of the village. The other team members scanned the sky rings with cold devices. Tom said, you came to collect data, but you haven't asked the Valari what this place means. Bryn raised an eyebrow. We're here to understand resources, not emotions. Tom shook his head. That's not understanding, it's counting. Bryn crossed his arms. Then explain it to me. Show me what I'm missing. So Tom brought him to the high hill. They sat in silence as the sky turned gold. The rings of the planet moved slowly, painting the heavens with shifting color. Tom pointed at the horizon. That's not just light, it's history. Each ring is shaped by hundreds of years of music. The Valari sing to the sky, and the sky remembers. Bryn looked at him, confused. Tom continued. They don't build machines, they build feelings. This world is alive not just because it grows, but because it listens. Bryn stayed quiet. He looked at the sky, at the trees, and at Tom. Finally he said, it's beautiful. Tom smiled. Yes, it is. Later that day, Lyra created a special light sculpture. It floated above the village, shaped like a tree, but made of memory. It showed pictures from Tom's time on Valari. Him walking beside her, him giving the feather, him speaking the words that made her cry. You're so beautiful, I just want to look at you. The sculpture glowed warmly in the evening air. Bryn watched in silence. That night, he called off the scans. He sent a message back to Earth. Valari is not a place for taking. It is a place for learning. Recommend no resource extraction. Strong cultural value. Emotional depth. Unique life connection. Protected. The next morning, Bryn found Tom. We'll leave in 2 days, he said. But you can stay if you choose. Tom looked at Lyra, who stood among the trees, light dancing around her. He nodded. Already did. It's a days after Commander. Bryn's departure were quiet again. The forest of Valari slowly returned to its peaceful rhythm. The glowing birds sang higher, the soft winds returned to the trees, and the colors in the sky grew brighter. It was as if the planet had taken a breath of relief. Tom stayed. His message, too. Earth was short. I found something worth staying for. I'm safe. I'm home. No one questioned it. Perhaps they knew something had changed in him. Maybe they understood that some journeys were not meant to end quickly. Lyra smiled when she saw him still walking beside her the next morning. You've chosen, she said gently. Tom nodded. Yes. I want to learn more. I want to be a part of this. Of you. She looked at him with warmth in her eyes. Then it's time to share your light with us. Tom didn't have light the way the Valari did. He didn't glow, and he couldn't shape memory into floating images. But he did have stories. He had songs. He had small things from Earth. One day he gathered the village in the center clearing, the same place where Lyra had once shared her heart. "I want to show you something," he said, standing beside a smooth stone platform. "It's a gift from Earth, something that brought people together when words were not enough." From a small bag, he took out an old music player, a simple speaker. He pressed a button, and a soft, slow melody began to play. It was a piano song. The notes floated into the air gentle, rising and falling like waves. The music had no words, but it carried something deeper. Longing, love, hope. The Volari stood silently, listening. Their light pulsed slowly, in rhythm with the sound. Their eyes softened. Some of them even closed their eyes, letting the notes wrap around them. Lyra's light turned silver and soft blue. "What is this?" she whispered. "It's music from Earth," Tom said. It was played by someone who never met the Volari, but somehow he still touched your hearts. Lyra touched her chest. "We feel it. The way we feel the wind. The light of this music. It reaches inside." The village elder stepped forward. "Your kind has no glowing bodies, yet your heart shines through this sound." Tom smiled. More, he showed them drawings of earth oceans, mountains, forests. He explained snow, the sound of rain on rooftops, scent of fresh bread in a quiet morning house. Lyra listened closely, his eyes wide with wonder. "Your world is very different," she said, "and very alive." Tom nodded. "It's just like this." 1. We are not so different after all. The Volari invited Tom to create something with them. They didn't use tools like humans. They shaped their thoughts and feelings into light forms. Tom couldn't do that. But he could build with his hands. He asked for soft stones, pieces of fallen tree bark, glowing feathers. With Lyra's help, began to build a memory garden. It was a circle of small towers, each one a mix of earth and Volari. Some were covered in feathers, others had carved leaves. One had earth sand inside a clear shell. Another had a drawing of stars from both Sky's Earth and Volari. Lyra added her own piece of sculpture. Made of thin strands of glowing thread, in its center, she placed the stone Tom had given her on their first meeting. Around the sculpture, she wrote in Volari symbols, "The one who saw me." When the garden was complete, the Volari gathered again. They walked slowly through the space, touching each memory, letting their light shift as they felt each story. Tom stood near Lyra, watching. The lights dance across the stone paths. "They understand," he said softly. Lyra looked at him, her eyes glowing. "Because you showed them gently." For the next many days, Tom continued to share. He taught the Volari how to paint with earth brushes. They showed him how to sing with light. He told stories of Earth's sky, and they told him the names of each ring in theirs. They were weaving two worlds into one. One evening, as the sky turned soft orange, Lyra took Tom to the river. "I have something for you," she said. She placed a small object in his hand. It was a clear shell, like a glass pearl, and inside it floated a tiny glowing tree. "It's a piece of Volari," she said, "shaped from my memory. It will never fade." Tom looked at it in wonder. "It's beautiful." "It's you," she said. "You gave me color again. You helped me believe my light was worth showing." Tom felt his heart swell. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a tiny folded paper. "I made this for you," he said. He opened it, gently. Inside was a hand-drawn picture, two figures standing under a tree. One had a glowing form, the other did not. But both were smiling. Lyra stared at it, silent. "It's simple," Tom said, "but it's real." Lyra looked up at him, her eyes wet with joy. "You've brought Earth to us," she said. "But more than that, you brought yourself." Tom touched her hand gently. "And you gave me something I never had before," he whispered. "A place where I'm not just looking, I'm seen too." As the stars began to shine in the darkening sky, the two stood side by side. Above them, the glowing rings of Volari moved slowly across the heavens. Different worlds, one heart. The days on Volari grew longer and warmer. Sky rings moved slower and the trees whispered gently in the evening winds. Flowers glowed in, soft pink and blue, and the lakes shined like mirrors of the stars. Tom had lived many weeks among the Volari. His skin had grown used to the soft air. His steps matched the peaceful rhythm of the forest. He no longer felt like a visitor. He felt like he belonged. One morning, Lyra came to him with a calm but excited look. "The elders have spoken," she said. "They wish for you to take part in the joining of lights." Tom looked up from the stones he had been painting. It is one of our oldest traditions," Lyra explained. "A moment where two beings, one from each soul circle, share their light in a sacred space. Not through machines or words, but through feeling." Tom felt a little nervous. "I don't have light like you. I don't shine or float." Lyra smiled gently. "But your heart shines. That is enough." The ceremony was only done once every 10 years. The last time it happened, it was between two Volari from far mountains. This time, they were asking Tom. It meant something important. Trust. For 2 days, the village prepared the floating lanterns. Were shaped with care and hung across the clearings. The river was lined with memory stones, each one telling stories from the past. The trees were brushed with sweet oil that made them glow with soft gold light. Lyra gave Tom special clothes, made of plant fibers. They were light, smooth, and gently shimmered when he moved. "Tonight, we enter the heart space," she said. "It is where the sky first spoke to Volari, where silence became light." Tom listened carefully. Didn't want to do anything wrong. This was more than a tradition, it was a bond, gift. When night fell, the villagers walked slowly to the sacred hill. There was no speaking, only soft music played on wind instruments that looked like they were grown, not made. At the top of the hill was a circle made of glowing stones. In the center was a platform shaped like a flower. That was the heart space. Tom and Lyra stood in the center while the others sat quietly around them. Lyra took Tom's hand. "Now, open your memory. Let it flow." Tom closed his eyes. He remembered Earth, his mother's voice, rain on the windows, the warm kitchen, the old songs he used to play. He remembered walking alone in the deep forests of his home, looking for peace, but never finding it, until now. Beside him, Lyra opened her own memory. She remembered her first light shape, the day her parents vanished into the sky storm, the long, silent days afterward, the loneliness, and the moment she met Tom under the forest tree. As their thoughts grew clearer, something happened. The stones around them began to glow brighter. Soft threads of colored light lifted from the ground. Blue, silver, orange, gold, the lights floated between. Tom and Lyra, like fireflies made of memory. The villagers gasped softly. Tom felt it not as heat or sound, but as a deep peace, connection without need for words. One strand of light touched his shoulder. Another gently circled his hand. Suddenly, a soft light began to rise from Tom's chest. Not bright, but real. Lyra's eyes filled with quiet joy. "You see," she whispered, "you carry light too." Tom didn't speak. He didn't need to. His feelings flowed through the space like gentle waves. The ceremony lasted only a few minutes, but it felt like a lifetime. When it ended, the light slowly faded back into the ground, leaving behind a sense of calm joy in everyone's heart. The elder stood and raised a glowing hand. "This is the first joining between our kind and another. It is a sign that hearts can meet, even across stars." Tom felt honored and deeply moved. Later that night, after the ceremony, he sat with Lyra under a tall singing tree. "Thank you," he said quietly. "For what?" she asked. "For trusting me," Tom replied. "For letting me into your light." Lyra smiled. "You did not come to take, you came to see. That's why the forest welcomed you." Tom looked up at the sky. "Will more people come from Earth?" Lyra nodded. "Maybe. One day will they be ready?" "That will depend," she said gently. "If they come with machines only, the forest will stay silent. But if they come like you, open and quiet, the light will answer." Tom sat quietly for a moment, then asked, "Do you think I'll ever go back?" Lyra looked at him. "That is for your heart to decide." Tom thought about Earth. He missed some things. The food, the sky he grew up under, the music of city streets. But here he had found something he didn't know he needed. Stillness, wonder, belonging, and Lyra. She stood and held out her hand. "Come," she said. "The forest is singing tonight." He took her hand and they walked together through the glowing trees. In that moment, Tom knew, no matter where he was born, this place, this people, this light, they were part of him now, and he was part of them forever. Months passed on Valari. Tom had grown used to the glowing forests, the peaceful winds, and the gentle songs of the trees. His hands were stronger now, shaped by work. His voice had softened, shaped by kindness. He spent his days building, painting, listening, and sharing. Every moment was quiet but full. Lyra was always beside him. They no longer needed many words. A glance, a smile, a shared moment under the stars was enough. But then, one clear morning, the sky changed. A silver line appeared across the horizon. A human ship. Tom stood at the river's edge, watching it descend slowly like a falling star. Lyra joined him. "They've come," she said. Tom nodded. I wondered when they would. He felt a mix of feelings: joy, fear, memory. He had once waited for rescue. Now he wasn't sure if rescue was the right word. The ship landed in the open valley. A soft hum filled the air. Birds flew overhead, but the forest remained calm. Tom walked with Lyra to meet the visitors. 3 humans stepped out, dressed in light suits. Their eyes scanned the area, wide with amazement. One of them, a woman named Mira, stepped forward. "Tom?" she asked. He smiled. "Yes. Welcome to Valari." Her eyes showed disbelief and relief. "We thought you were lost." "I was," Tom said softly. "But not anymore." They looked at Lyra, standing beside him. Her glowing form shimmered like water. "She's one of them?" Mira asked. Tom nodded. "Her name is Lyra. She's my friend, my teacher, my heart." Mira looked around. "We've read your messages. Earth is surprised and curious. They want to talk, to learn, maybe more." Tom felt something stir inside. A door opening, Lyra turned to him. "Will you leave?" "I don't know yet," Tom answered honestly, "but I will help them understand." The humans were invited to the village. The Valari watched them quietly, not with fear, but with caution. Tom acted as a bridge. He translated the soft words of the Valar. He explained Earth's machines, its ways, its hope. He helped both sides listen with their hearts, not just ears. Some things were still hard. Earth's people were fast. The Valari were slow. Earth asked many questions. The Valari asked only one: "Do you see us?" At night, Tom walked with Lyra through the memory garden. "They're not bad," he said, "just loud. They carry the noise of Earth in their hearts." Lyra smiled. "Perhaps you once did too." He laughed softly. "Maybe. I don't remember that version of me anymore." She looked at him. "Will you go with them?" "I'm not sure," he replied. "But I think I need to visit for a while." Her light dimmed just a little. "Only if you promise to return," she said. He took her hands gently. "You are my home. Wherever I go, my heart stays here." She nodded, but said nothing more. The next day, the human crew prepared to leave. Mira offered Tom a place on the ship. "There's space for you," she said. "People on Earth want to hear your story." Tom stood for a long time, thinking. He turned to Lyra. She stepped close and gave him something, wrapped in soft plant cloth. Inside was the memory stone from their first walk together, the one he gave her under the singing tree. Tom smiled. "I'll come back," he promised. "You better," she replied with a soft laugh, "or I'll come looking for you." They hugged quietly. No big words, no loud goodbyes, just light, warmth, and promise. When the ship rose into the sky, Lyra watched until it became a small dot. She didn't cry. Her heart was calm, because this time he wasn't lost. He was just walking a longer path and he would return. On Earth, Tom spoke before many people. He told them about Valarina, just the glowing trees or floating lights. But the silence, the listening, the beauty of being seen. He shared Lyra's drawing. He played the Volari songs, made of light and memory. Some laughed, some cried. Some didn't understand, but some did. Those were the ones who began to dream of peace, of wonder, of a new kind of friendship. One that didn't take but gave. 2 seasons later, another ship left Earth. On board were 6 people, each trained to walk softly and speak gently. Tom led them, and beside him, in a special small space, was the gift he had carried back from Volari, a glowing seed. Planted in Earth's soil, it grew slowly but with light. Lyra had sent it with one message: let them see us through what we leave behind. Tom smiled whenever he looked at the plant. It didn't speak, it didn't glow brightly, but it reminded him of her, of the forest, of the night he first said, "You're so beautiful, I just want to look at you," and how she cried not from sadness, but from being seen, truly seen.